Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. And my question for you today as you begin is this. How receptive are you to difficult news? The prophet Isaiah warns us against ignoring it. In chapter 30, it says this. It says, "These are rebellious people, deceitful children, children unwilling to listen to the Lord's instruction. They say to the seers, 'See no more visions,' and to the prophets, 'Give us no more visions of what is right. Tell us pleasant things. Prophesy illusions. Leave this way, get off this path, and stop confronting us with the Holy One of Israel.'" Isaiah tells us what the results of this will be. "This sin will become for you like a high wall, cracked and bulging, that collapses suddenly in an instant. It will break in pieces like pottery, shattered so mercilessly that among its pieces not a fragment will be found for taking coals from a hearth or scooping water out of a cistern." As I read this, I was thinking about a journey I had this summer. I had a bad mammogram and a cancer scare, and thankfully all the news is good. But over the span of 6 months, I had a bad mammogram, I had a biopsy that kind of went south, I had a lumpectomy, I had to wait for all of the news. Had my story been different, and had I ignored any of that at any point, I could have ended up with aggressive breast cancer that eventually took my life. In the same way, sometimes I think we want to ignore a little bit of what the Lord has to say to us. And that becomes bigger and bigger and bigger until it becomes like a cancer inside us, like a bulging wall that explodes and shatters us. So today, as we practice, I invite you to open yourself up to hearing the hard things that God has to say to you. Come to a comfortable seated position, elevating your hips up on a blanket or a block if you have one. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side, front to back, finding those sitting bones underneath you. Gently draw your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let them drop. Do that again, thinking about this tendency we have to want only the good news. Shrug the shoulders up. Can you let that go? One more time. Elbows softly hanging underneath the shoulders, hands lightly on the legs. I invite you to close your eyes. Begin to let the day fade away. Let go of the night to come. Find your breath. And as you open up the body with breath, open yourself up to all that God has to say to you. Inhale a little more deeply, the lungs, the rib cage, all the way down to that diaphragm muscle. Exhale, release. A few more times here, just opening up the body, top to bottom, front to back, side to side. Beginning to find strength, stability as you exhale. One more breath here. Begin to connect movement with breath. Draw the arms up on that inhale as the gaze comes up. Exhale and come down. And just repeat this a couple more times. As you breathe in, push up from underneath. Push up with these serratus muscles that are underneath the arm. Today's practice will focus on lengthening up and down the sides of the body. Again, just reaching for truth, all of it. Finding a bit of a flow here. Take a nice deep breath in as the arms rise. Exhale as they fall. Press into that right arm as the left arm comes up and over. And go the other direction. And again, arms rise and fall. Following the breath, reach side to side. And one more time. Gently come back to center. Take a deep breath in. Let the arms rise, hands up, palms together, and exhale, hands to heart. And just stay here for 3 breaths. Be honest with yourself. How willing are you to hear difficult news? How willing are you to accept correction? Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, letting go of any resistance that you hold. I invite you to come off the block. Go ahead and bring any props that you have towards the front of the mat. Go ahead and bring that right leg out to the side. Turn the body towards the leg. Activate the muscles of the leg, and exhaling, come forward. Inhaling, come back, back and forth here. Are you still following the breath, or are you starting to move maybe more quickly than the breath? Exhaling, come forward. Find your stretch here. As you're ready, bring that outside arm to the inside, and if it's more comfortable for you, you can put that arm up on a block. Bring that left arm all the way up and over towards that right foot. Again, how much length can you find in the side of the body? Exhale out, release, come across. So just back and forth here. One more time. As you're ready, come up and over, and I invite you just to stay here. So settle into it. Maybe you bring that left sitting bone down just a little bit more. As you inhale, can you find the length? And as you exhale, can you contract through the abdominals? Bring that belly button in and up a little bit, finding support. One more breath here. Taking a deep breath in, you're going to bring this top arm behind you. Sweep the right arm up and over. Open up the body. Let the shoulders come back. Open up through the hip and the psoas muscle in the front. And exhale and release. Invite you to come to the other side, maybe keeping that block nearby. So again, can you activate the muscles of the leg? Push the heel forward, draw the hip crease back. Lead with breath as you exhale forward and inhale back. Just warming up here, readying those muscles for all that the practice has for them. And one more time, back and forth, checking in. What do you notice? And as you're ready, find your hamstring stretch. Settle into it with breath. Make any small adjustments that you need to make. Maybe with that inhale, you can lengthen through the spine. Today is all about getting longer. As you're ready, bring that outside arm in. Again, maybe bringing the forearm to a block if that's better for you. Sweep that right arm out, up and over the head towards the toes. Bring it out and across. So a few times here. How connected are you to your breath? Exhale as you come across. And one more time. This time as you bring the arm up and overhead, no rush, just stay there. And again, how much length can you find? Maybe you can anchor into the sitting bones. Reach the fingertips. What happens if you engage the abdominals a little bit more? One more breath. And on that inhale, bring the arms up and over and release. Bring this right arm behind you. Sweep the left arm up. Open up the front of the body. Now stretching through that left hip. Maybe there's a slight tuck of the tailbone, a slight drop of that top shoulder. And as you're ready, release. I invite you to bring your blocks to the edge of the mat. Meet me in table. Find a little bubble of air under the palm of the hands. Grip the fingertips. Go ahead and press in through the tops of your feet. Find cat and cow, warming up through the back. Just a few times here. As the back moves smoothly, can you feel the spine articulate, or does it feel like it's moving in a big clump or several clumps? No judgment, just noticing. As you're ready, release. Go ahead and bring that left arm forward, that right leg back. Find balance and length here. Reaching, fingertips to one wall, heels to the other. 4 times, crunch. Exhale, knee comes in. Inhale, extend. Follow the breath. And as you're ready, stay extended. One more breath here. Exhale, release. Gently draw the hips back. Meet me in child's pose. If you have any wrist issues, maybe you turn those fingers underneath. And rise back up into table. This time it's the right arm that extends, the left leg that lifts. Again, engaging through the abdominals, elbows in and release. And 3 more times here. And as you're ready, stay extended, fingertips to one wall, heels to the other. Find length. And as you're ready, release. Knees and hands to the mat, child to table. I invite you to curl the toes under, draw knees up and into the rib cage, let the head drop, shake it out, no and yes. Begin to pedal through your feet. Letting the heels drop down towards the mat. Again, can you lengthen through the sides of the body a little bit here? And then deep breath in, heels rise, and exhaling, let the heels fall. And do that twice more. And as the heels come down, press especially through the big toe and the little toe. Imagine the heels being drawn down like a magnet towards the mat. Begin to think about lengthening through the sides. So that deep breath in is just going to push through the serratus muscle. The serratus muscle is going to push those arms forward. Notice what you notice. Taking a deep breath in, draw that right leg up to the sky and gaze forward. Bring the foot in between the hands. Let that back knee tap down and up. And as you're ready, let the back knee come down to the mat. Top of the foot to the mat. Take a deep breath in as you find your lunge. Go ahead and hold on to that left arm. Come up and over to the side. Right arm. Exhale, release. Hands to either side of the foot. Go ahead and bring that right arm out to the side. I invite you to bring the shoulder a little bit forward and then rotate that shoulder blade back and then bring the arm up. How much length can you find from fingertips to wrist? And then from here, turn the palm towards the ear and reach. Maybe the back leg rises up. Taking a deep breath here. Go ahead and bring that knee down again. Pivot it towards the back edge of the mat as you bring the front leg out to the back. Meeting me in gate pose again, the arm lengthening. So can you stack the hips? Press through the outside edge of the foot that's behind you. And then circle the arm all the way around. Meet me in a plank. And from plank, come down to your mat. Forearms to the mat, rise in and out of Sphinx a few times. Again, just continuing to warm up the muscles of the upper back now. And as you're ready, stay here and find breath. Pressing through the tops of the feet, activate the pose. Make those leg muscles strong. Press down with the forearms. Open up across the chest. Feel the work in the lats and the rhomboids. Exhale and release. Hands to rib cage. Hips to heels. Child's pose. And then as you're ready, rise into table, curl the toes under, tilt the hips, and meet me in downward facing dog. So checking in, just noticing the effects of that sequence on the body. Right side compared to left. What do you notice? On the next inhale, the left leg rises high. And the gaze comes forward as the foot comes through the hands. Back knee taps down and up. Again, just opening up through the psoas muscle, the front of the hip. Many of us are very tight there if we sit most of the day. Can also tighten up if we are cyclists or runners. Go ahead and press through the top of the foot in the back. Rise into your lunge. Find your balance. Invite you to hold on to that right wrist. Come over to the side. Reach up. Inhale. And exhale as you hold on to that left wrist and come over to the side. And as you're ready, release. Go ahead and press into that right hand. Bring that left arm out to the side. Again, maybe overreach it forward a little bit and then rotate that shoulder under and back, that shoulder blade. Raise that arm up. As you're ready, if you choose to, curl the toes under in the back. Go ahead and drop that back knee down. Pivot. That front leg will now reach to the outside edge of the mat. Right hand to the mat. Bring that left arm over, reaching from left fingertips to right toes. And again, just notice, I notice that I'm sort of sinking back here into my hip. Can you lengthen through the quadricep, through the psoas muscle? Can you lengthen from fingertips to shoulders and shoulders to wrist? And as you're ready, release. Come forward. I don't know exactly what I did there. It wasn't the same as what I did last time. Meet me in table. Curl the toes under. Meet me in plank. And come down to the mat. Finding your back bend, maybe it is still Sphinx. Maybe you are now in upward or in low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale as you come down. Hands to rib cage. Come back through child. Even here, can you lengthen? Maybe from here. Let's just stay here. Go ahead and raise the wrists up. Walk the fingertips a little bit forward as you draw the hips back. Taking a deep breath in, let the gaze come up a little bit. Walk those hands one handprint forward, draw the hips back again. How much length can you find here? And then Spider-Man, those hands hand over hand, come over to the right. Maybe the hips come out to the left a little bit. Can the wrists stay high as you look under that left arm? Maybe draw the hip back towards center to find a bit more stretch. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Hand over hand, go the other direction. Again, just drawing all the way back. Walk those fingers as far forward as you can. Drop those hips back. Begin to center the hips, looking underneath that extended arm. Find breath. As you're ready, release. Come back to center, hips to heels. And then rising up, curl the toes under, knees come up into the rib cage. Feet come back. Meet me in downward facing dog. Notice what you notice. Use your breath to find the pose. Taking a deep breath in, bring the right leg up to the sky, draw the gaze forward as the foot comes through the hands. Take a deep breath in, find a high lunge. Find the balance here. Maybe that front knee comes a little closer towards that ankle. Maybe that back thigh rises a bit, drawing the rib cage in. Taking a deep breath in, again, can you push up from underneath the arms? And then holding onto that left wrist, come over, find your stretch and your balance. Other direction. Taking a deep breath in, draw the hands down to either side of the foot. Again, inside hand presses in, right arm presses up. Exhale, release. This time, find a side plank. So you're going to press into that right hand right at the center of the mat there. Bring that left leg back. Bring that left arm up. And maybe your feet are stacked. Maybe one is in front of the other. Maybe the arm can come up and overhead and you can reach from fingertips to heel. And exhale and bring the arm all the way around and come down to the mat. Find your back bend. And hands to rib cage. Come through child. Rise to table. And breathe into downward facing dog. Stay here for breath. Notice what you notice. One more breath here. And the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze forward, float the foot through the hands, rise into your lunge. Find the lunge. Knee is over the ankle, back thigh rises, rib cage knitted together. You can just hold on to one wrist and reach. And the other. Exhale, go ahead and bring those hands down. Press into the right hand as that left arm comes out to the side and reaches up. You're turning in towards that front leg. And then exhale as the hand comes down and the front foot comes to the back. And that left wrist directly underneath the shoulder, maybe just a little bit forward of the shoulder actually. Arm rises. And then this top arm, this right arm reaches, and you're reaching through your feet and your fingers, and maybe the gaze even comes up. That's a balance challenge. And exhale and release, and come down to the mat. Find your back bend. And hands to rib cage. Come back, hips to heels. Meet me in downward facing dog. And settling into downward facing dog, we're going to stay here for a few breaths. So as we think about these hard truths, the ways that the prophets called the people back into alignment, let's just think about some of those calls. Jesus' call to love your enemies. How are you doing on that? How well do you love those who persecute you, who discourage you, who frustrate you, who work against you? Stay here for another 2 breaths. Loving others can be hard. And that next inhale, take the right leg up to the sky. Drawing the gaze forward, bring the foot in between the hands, rise into your lunge. Again, just hold on to that left wrist, come over to the side. Right wrist up and over to the side. This time, bring the hands out to the side, pivot into your warrior 2. So you're going to press into the outside edge of that back foot. Front knee is going to come over the ankle. Go ahead and draw the hips towards the wide edge of the mat, arms out. Find your peaceful warrior, your side angle bend. Find as much length as you can. Maybe with that peaceful warrior, you use the bottom arm to wrap around, creating a little more length up and down the side. And again. One more time here. Come into side angle bend, stay there. We're going to come into triangle, so if you want a block, maybe it comes to the front of your foot. Go ahead and straighten out that front leg. Begin to feel the length in the side, the stretch in that top side. Maybe you can lighten the load on this wrist and hand that's below you so that it's floating or just barely on that block. Maybe this top arm reaches over. Deep breath in, come back into peaceful warrior, lunge that leg. Go ahead and cartwheel as you come back. Press into the left hand, right arm reaches out to the side and up. Exhaling, press into that right hand. Find your side plank as that foot comes to the back. Reach, arm comes over. Exhale, go ahead and turn towards the mat, come down. Find your back bend of choice. Maybe you continue to glide through child. Maybe you go directly to downward facing dog. Find your breath, settle in, check in. What do you notice? Taking a deep breath in, the left leg rises high. Gaze forward, foot comes all the way through the hands. Take a deep breath in, rise into your lunge. Find the lunge, find the strength. Hold on to one wrist and come to the side. Go the other direction. Arms out to the side, pivot into warrior two. Again, this front knee over the ankle, toes facing forward, back foot parallel to the outside edge of the mat. Maybe you can sink a little more deeply into it. Align those hips, activate the muscles of the hips. Draw back, peaceful warrior. Come forward, side angle bend. Again, lengthening as you go. Maybe in that peaceful warrior, you find that bind. One more time here. And again, maybe you find a block and bring it to the front. Maybe you don't need that. Straighten out the leg. Take a little weight off that top hand if you can. Leg straightens out, arm reaches to sky. Engage the abdominals and hold on. Again, can you float the hand? Bring this top arm over as you press through the outside edge of that back foot. And as you're ready, lunge forward, come back into that peaceful warrior, and cartwheel your way forward. Press into that right hand, sweep that left arm out to the side and up. And then bring the hand down, find your plank. If you need to drop this bottom knee, that's okay. Can you bring the arm overhead and find length? Exhaling, bring the arm around, meet me back in plank. Come down to the mat. Find your back bend. Maybe it's upward facing dog now. Wherever you are, however you choose to, work your way back and meet me in downward facing dog. Settle here. Find your breath. Notice what's going on in the body. Consider this call to not envy what others have, to not covet what you do not have. Are you satisfied with what you have? Is it enough for you? Stay here for 3 more breaths. On that next inhale, let the right leg rise high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes through the hands, rise into your lunge. Find the lunge, shoulders over hips, legs strong. Maybe this time you connect the thumbs together. Come over to one side. And over to the other. Can you do that without your knee shifting? My front knee is shifting a little here. You know, can you keep those legs rock solid? Imagine they're made of marble. Hands out to the side. Meet me in warrior two. And if you're going to be using a block, you know, maybe you bring that block forward now. Peaceful warrior. Side angle bend. Do that twice more. Working our way back towards triangle. Use the muscles of the internal obliques at the waist to guide the body, to support the movement. And then as you're ready, draw that top arm up to the sky. Straighten out that bottom leg. Use the block if you choose to. Take a little weight off the block. Maybe that bottom arm comes out and that top arm reaches. Reach and reach and reach. And release. Peaceful warrior. Cartwheel. Find your plank. Make it work for you. Maybe you're in a kneeling plank now. Actually, find your side plank here. Maybe the bottom leg is down. Reach that top arm over. Meet me back in plank. Come to the mat. Find your flow. Maybe you go straight to child at this point. Whatever works for you. Meet me in downward facing dog. And check in. This is a powerful flow, a difficult practice. You can do hard things. And the next inhale, left leg rises high. Gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Take a deep breath in, arms rise. Let the knee come over the ankle. The back leg, the back thigh rises. Again, hook those thumbs. Reach to one side. Reach to the other. Can you keep those legs solid? Arms out to the side. Pivot into that warrior two. Sink a little deeper into that warrior. Lengthen through the sides. Peaceful warrior. Side angle bend. You've got this. Last time through. One more. Block in place if you need it. Okay, so you know the options. You can just stay here. Or raise that top arm up, bottom arm down. Begin to find your triangle. And maybe this is where you stay. Maybe that arm comes out. Maybe the other arm reaches as well. And release it. Meet me in peaceful warrior. Cartwheel your way forward. Press into that right hand. Bring that left arm out and up. I forgot that last time. Bring it down now. Find that side plank. And reach that arm long. And we didn't do this on the other side, but another option would even be to raise that leg. Cartwheel your way back to plank. Drawing the knees down to the mat, child to table twice. Find length and stretch. And we've done a lot on our hands today. So again, maybe curling the fingers under, wrists towards that mat in front of you. And release. One more time, child to table. And as you're ready, I invite you to come into child's pose. Drop your right arm and just bring your left arm in front and find child's pose here and just rest here for a couple of breaths. As you're ready, come back to the other side. Right arm in front, left elbow towards the knees, reaching, finding breath. Meet me back at center, and I invite you to find the child's pose that works best for you. So maybe knees are narrow, maybe they're a little bit wider. Maybe the hands are forward, maybe they are back behind you. Find your breath. Stay here. As you settle into child's pose today, how good are you at caring for what the Bible calls the least of these? Those on the outside, those who need extra help, food, shelter, grace, mercy. How well do you sacrificially love? I invite you to take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, press into your hands and rise up to sitting. Bring your feet out wide and gently drop your knees side to side. And bring your feet forward and come down to your back. Pressing into your heels, I invite you to rise up into bridge, opening up the front of your body. And stay there, contract through the glutes, keep those abs strong. And then maybe the arms bend like robots and reach up and come all the way over, and maybe you can find length here. And then just exhale and bring those elbows back to the mat and gently bring the back to the mat. Go ahead and bring the hands down. And one more time, come up into that bridge as high as you can. Press into the shoulder blades, the heels, tuck those glutes under, open up. Maybe you bend the elbows and maybe the arms run back behind you and reach for that wall. And just bring those forearms back to the mat and bring the back to the mat. Gently bring the hands to the knees and into the rib cage and away, back and forth here. And feet to the mat, go ahead and extend the legs long. And windshield wiper your feet and bounce your knees and wiggle your hips and settle into Shavasana. Let the arms rise high, and again as you reach, can you reach wholeheartedly for all the truth of God? And exhale as those shoulder blades drop. And one more time. Let the hands come down to the mat, palms up, open to instruction, open to correction. As you settle into Shavasana, hear these words also from Isaiah 30. Yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Therefore, he will rise up and show you compassion. For the Lord is a God of justice, and blessed are all who wait for him. Although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, your teachers will be hidden no more. With your own eyes you will see them. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." The moon will shine like the sun, and the sunlight will be 7 times brighter, like the light of 7 full days when the Lord binds up the bruises of his people and heals the wounds he inflicted. I invite you to stay here a little longer if you can. If you need to move on with your day, gently bring movement back, wiggling fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles, turning your head side to side. And that next inhale, bring arms up and over and reach. Fingertips to one wall and toes to the other and stretch. And gently bend the knees and roll over onto one side and find breath. And as you're ready, come up to sitting. Finding a sitting position. Check in one final time, body, mind, and soul. Remember where you were when you came to the mat today. Notice what has changed. Noticing also what has stayed the same. Take a deep breath in, arms rise, palms together, and exhaling, bring hands to heart. Joining me in prayer. Holy God, forgive us for all those times when we roll right past your correction, your advice, bad news. Help us, God, to trust you fully, to know that no matter what path we are on, what path you have set us on, it is the right path. Thank you, God, that you are always with us, that your Spirit is always guiding us, comforting us, and correcting us. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.